tusirudi kwa biashara na shule kufungwa. Pendao, tusirudi nyuma.
Na kuhitaji unikinge, pata chanjo.
Ili tuendelee na maisha vizuri.
Na kuhitaji unikinge, pata chanjo.
Na kuhitaji unikinge,
pata chanjo.
Na kuhitaji unikinge,
pata chanjo.
Na kuhitaji unikinge, pata chanjo.
Ili tuendeleze maisha bora kwa ajili ya wapendao, nchi yetu na usoni wetu, kwa ajili yetu sisi sote. Pata chanjo. Kaa chonjo. Kuhakikisha nchi yetu na uchumi wetu umestawi katika uwazi. Tusirudi nyuma.
The process proudly brought to you by Buchan Furnitures Limited, local manufacturers of quality office furniture and dealers in quality office equipment like fireproof safes and cabinets. For orders, visit our showroom at Uniafric House, Koinange Land off Koinange Street.
Every day, you hear news reports about routine immunization across Kenya. Once pregnancy is confirmed, a mother is recommended to visit the health facility for tetanus toxoid vaccination. As soon as a child is born, a child receives a birth dose of oral polio and BCG. At 6, 10, and 14 weeks of age, a child is to receive polio vaccine drops, pentavalent vaccine on the left thigh, PCV10 vaccine and rotavirus vaccine, and at 14 weeks, IPV on the right thigh. In addition, a child is recommended for yellow fever vaccine in some select counties. In malaria endemic sub-counties, a child will receive malaria vaccine at 6 months, 7 months, 9 months, and 24 months. At 18 months, a child receives measles rubella vaccine. At 10 to 14 years of age, a girl child is supposed to receive 2 doses of HPV vaccine 6 months apart. All adults of age 15 years and above are recommended to receive COVID-19 vaccines. Make every immunization visit count. Make a visit now to your nearest health facility. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and UNICEF.
Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, there's a story that we have been following up for you. It's about the political parties amendment. The president did talk about it today. We have the details for you. And also in business, we'll tell you a little bit more about coding. That's on Tech One. And in sports, Munga has all the action for you. So let's start right now with the highlights.
Which some people have tried to demonize as they try to demonize BBI. That is giving us an opportunity for us to be able to formally work together across political parties.
Unity of purpose. President Kenyatta calls on politicians to work together for the sake of peace and development.
We will not buy fear. We will not buy blackmail. We will not entertain threats. You are not going to sell us fear. Even if you give us for free, we will not have it.
Stop the intimidation. DP William Ruto accuses his political competitors of blackmail and intimidation.
We've had a win-win situation here. As a union, it should be known to members of the public that we are not against restructuring of public universities.
We have aligned our various units in the university to ensure that they are more efficient and effective, that the turnaround time in making decisions in the university is improved.
And we have a deal. University of Nairobi given green light to proceed with its planned restructuring.
Our sign hand interpreter is Lucy Mora, and remember, would love to hear from you. Your feedback does matter. You can send us your feedback or even ideas on KBC on Instagram, Twitter, and also Facebook. All right, let's start with a story that we highlighted for you earlier. President Uhuru Kenyatta has called on politicians to work together with a view of improving the lives of all Kenyans. The president, who hosted legislators in support of his agenda, said he will continue engaging with all leaders irrespective of their political persuasions to ensure that Kenya becomes a strong and united nation. The president has also hailed the passage of crucial bills at the National Assembly, among them the controversial Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021.
It was during a New Year luncheon held at State House, Nairobi, for members of Parliament on Thursday, attended by ODM leader Raila Odinga, that the head of state reminded politicians to conduct peaceful campaigns ahead of the forthcoming general elections. The president commending MPs for passing crucial bills during the special sittings held over the recess period, which he says are key to improving governance and delivery of services to Kenyans.
You turned out in huge numbers. You left your homes, you left your families, came out in huge numbers to pass a couple of pieces of legislation that are going to be a game changer.
Some of the special bills considered at the National Assembly during the special sittings include the anti-money laundering bill, which the president says will ensure the country is able to continue being part of the international financial system and to have a respected banking system that can only help improve and mature the economy. The National Hospital Insurance Fund Bill, which is set to fulfill the universal healthcare coverage agenda, and the Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga taking a swipe at some leaders who were opposing the controversial bill.
And the Political Parties Amendment that we are trying to push through, which some people have tried to demonize as they try to demonize BBI, that is giving us an opportunity for us to be able to formally work together across political parties in the interest of the nation. Because this is what we are trying to achieve. As we sit here today, yes, I am a proud member of Jubilee, but I am an even prouder member of the Kenyan society, which I see reflected around these tables here. To be here with leaders from across the divide. And this is really what we are trying to achieve. To say that we may belong in many different homes, but we can actually work together for the common interest of 50 million people.
It's not a crime for somebody to see something is wrong in our constitution or in our law that we need to change, because it only makes things better. They say that a good idea always yields to a better idea. So what you guys are doing is basically trying to improve governance in our country. So we really want to thank you very, very sincerely for what you did.
The two leaders called on the Senate to emulate the National Assembly in passing the Political Parties Amendment Bill and other laws before them for the benefit of all Kenyans. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
Still in politics, Deputy President William Ruto has accused his political competitors of trying to use intimidation and blackmail. The DP, who was on a tour in Kajiado County, said Kenyans will overcome all barriers placed on their way and that nothing will stop his presidential bid. Ruto said the ultimate decision on the country's leadership lies with the voters.
Deputy President William Ruto was in parts of Kajiado County to popularize his bottom-up economic model. Speaking after making several stops in Kajiado County, the Deputy President said those seeking leadership should present their development agenda to the people, saying no amount of intimidation or blackmail will deter Kenyans from choosing their leaders.
We are telling our competitors, good people, we will not buy fear. We will not buy blackmail. We will not entertain threats. You are not going to sell us fear. Even if you give us for free, we will not have it, because we want to change this nation. And we are united against threats, blackmail, intimidation, and fear, because we want to transform our nation united.
Ruto promising to put in place a conducive environment for both small and big businesses to thrive, as he woo locals to back his candidature.
Hata rais wa Marekani Joe Biden, he has confirmed that the trickle-down economic model has failed. Ndio mimi nimependekeza ya kwamba safari hii jameni tupindue, tuanze na huko chini.
The DP promised that his administration will resolve key issues facing Kenyans such as the NHIF, saying Kenya requires a bold economic turnaround but not constitutional reforms to create positions.
Mimi nawaambia nikisimama hapa, miezi 4 inatosha. Kabla ya mwisho wa mwaka huu, kila mmoja wetu hapa utakuwa na bima ya afya ya NHIF na utalipa kulingana na mapato yako, na yule ambaye huwezi kulipa, serikali ya Kenya itakulipia.
Leaders present are the locals to back the Deputy President in his president quest.
Watu ya Kajiado, mumekubali kuenda na chama cha UDA, ati tunaenda na mpango ya bottom up.
Kura yetu ya tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, kura ya William Samoei Ruto. Hebu nione kura ya William Samoei Ruto.
Huyu William Ruto amekuja hapa kujipanga na nyinyi, si amefanya mzuri? Tumejipanga sisi kama mahasla, na tumejipanga na hasla mwenze. Na kule Kisii tumeamua chama ni UDA. Hapa mumeamua ni UDA.
Now to education matters, where restructuring of University of Nairobi faculties and department is set to resume after the university's management and the University Academic Staff Union reached an agreement. The Lecturers Union has consequently withdrawn a court case that had sought to stop the abolishing of some colleges and faculties.
6 months ago, the University of Nairobi announced that it had rendered some 24 colleges redundant. The University Academic Staff Union, however, moved to court, arguing that the proposed changes had neither policy framework nor transitional guidelines for the current governance structure. The UON management, led by Vice Chancellor Professor Stephen Kiama, and the University Academic Staff Union met over the restructuring stalemate and resolved to continue the restructuring on condition that no union member will lose their job.
We have signed a consent. We've agreed on all the issues that were dividing us. And I want to say we've had a win-win situation here. As a union, it should be known to members of the public that we are not against restructuring of public universities. But we are saying we must be involved because those restructuring affect our members. We have since agreed that the restructuring at the University of Nairobi is not going to make any of our member lose his or her job.
We want to make University of Nairobi sustainable. We want to make University of Nairobi relevant. We want to make University of Nairobi vibrant. We want to ensure that University of Nairobi structure, governance structure, or the way we do the things, we do according to the law.
The UON Vice Chancellor Professor Stephen Kiama says the restructuring aims at making the university relevant and faculties more efficient. Some of the positions that are likely to be abolished include 5 offices of Deputy Vice Chancellors will now be replaced by 2 positions of Associate Vice Chancellors.
We have aligned our various units in the university to ensure that they are more efficient and effective, that the turnaround time in making decisions in the university is improved in the structures that we have provided. And we have also ensured that we have accommodated the various academics or faculty in their respective departments.
The institution expects the structural interventions to result in shorter decision turnaround time and greater fiscal discipline. Yeshoki Washira, Prime Edition.
Still on education, where the government has officially launched the first competency-based curriculum CBC classrooms for junior students to be completed nationally at Simera Secondary School, Siaya County. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha at the same time said phase 2 of the second phase of the CBC infrastructure development program is set to kick off in April this year, as he assured Kenyans of enough infrastructure and materials for the competency-based curriculum before the August elections.
A sample of the first set of junior secondary school classrooms under the competency-based curriculum is ready. The classrooms at Simero Secondary School in Unguja, Siaya County, are ready for use after Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha unveiled them today. Professor Magoha saying the second phase of the CBC infrastructure development program is set to kick off in April this year.
As all systems go, the government is extremely serious about these classrooms, so the global picture of having 5,400 of them ready by the end of March is going to be realized ahead of time.
The CS, who later inspected the ongoing construction of CBC classrooms at Nyawara and St. Francis Rangala Girls Secondary Schools, said the government will ensure there was enough infrastructure and materials for the competency-based curriculum before the August polls.
In terms of the second part of these classrooms, we are assuming that by the time the exams start in March, we shall have completed the first phase. The same contractors will be carried over to the second phase so that we save time. That second phase should start toward the end of April when we have marked the exams.
He said that the same contractors undertaking phase 1 will be retained for the second phase so as to save on time. On discipline, Professor Magoha warned unruly students that they will no longer be entertained in schools.
If you are unruly, we shall let you go back to your parents to be unruly there. It's as simple as that. And we are asking that if students who don't want to be in school ask politely, the principals are directed to allow them to go, or they can come back when they are ready.
Do you have a small business? Well, you do not want to miss one story that I have for you on Take One on coding and how it can make your business a bit more efficient. That and more coming after the break.
Actually, I took this decision for the economy of Uganda. And I must make sure that every Ugandans get a fruit of independence. Since independent, actually Uganda is not yet independent, I will say that. Even when the British handed over on the 9th of October 1962, the Uganda still not yet independent. Uganda will be independent after this, my decision. After, I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians. It must be proper black and administration in those shops is run by the Ugandans.
Beacon Furnitures Limited. We're local manufacturers of quality office furniture, dealers in quality office equipment like fireproof safes and cabinets. Our automated state-of-the-art factories at Henna House along Enterprise Road in Nairobi's industrial area. Our showroom is at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. We are passionate believers in locally manufactured goods. When you and I buy locally made furniture, we impact on the livelihoods of our brothers and sisters. For orders, visit our showroom at Uniafric House, Koinange Lane off Koinange Street. Beacon Furnitures Limited. Jenga Kenya, tupate ajira.
You've had your revolutions. You've had your cartel wars, but you've never had global dealers in violence. Lina de la Renta. Contra.
Up and over. Wow.
Welcome back. Now, former Laikipia North MP Matthew Lemkerl was on Thursday released on a 150,000 shillings cash bail after being charged afresh with hate speech. It is alleged that he uttered abusive and threatening remarks against a community last year.
According to the charge sheet, the former legislator is accused that on July 17, 2021, while on a community-based TV show in Laikipia, made hateful remarks by uttering abusive and threatening words against a community. The prosecution said the remarks caused ethnic hatred in the county. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions also preferred a second charge of uttering abusive and threatening remarks against another community on the same day. The former MP was last year sentenced to 12 months in jail for assault after he slapped the current Laikipia North MP Sarah Korere on November 21, 2016 at Harambee House in Nairobi. His appeal is currently pending at the Court of Appeal. The courts retained the cash bail terms he was granted in September 2021. The case will be mentioned on February 16th. For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
The COVID-19 infection rate in Kenya appears to be on a downward trajectory after recording a surge over the holiday season. In the last 24 hours, 1,175 people have tested positive for the disease from 10,073 samples tested. The positivity rate is now at 11.7%. The total number of infections since March 2020 is 315,665. 3 patients succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in December 2021 and January 2022. Between Wednesday and Thursday, 3,025 patients recovered from the disease. Globally, over 317,940,537 have been reported since the first case was reported to the World Health Organization, while 5,533,204 people have succumbed to the disease. This is according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Now, moving on, Nakuru County government will in 30 days start demarcating its boundary with Narok in a bid to resolve rising cases of conflict and land. And more stories that are making headlines around the counties.
Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui says in the last couple of years, tens of lives, mainly around Liki and Maela area, have been lost due to clashes between communities living along the common border. Kinyanjui said demarcation will help put an end to the conflict.
Na mimi pia kama governor wenyu ni kuhakikisha tutafute pesa za survey na mambo kama hayo, na majina hii watu 600 iweze kueleweka na ilewekwe open, kila mtu ajue ni nani.
Elsewhere, sugarcane farmers in Western Region are faulting a section of politicians for playing politics in the revival of Movia's Sugar Company. The farmers want politicians to give the private developer humble time to bring back the ailing company to its feet.
Kampuni hii wakati iliposimama kufanya kazi, vijana walikosa ajira.
Wale mabwenyenye ambayo wanaingiza sukari katika nchi ya Kenya wajua ya kwamba sisi tunawalenga na tumewaona ya kwamba wao wanatumia watu kadhaa kwenda kotini kuhakikisha ya kwamba kampuni hii haifufuki.
Meanwhile, residents of Kimilili sub-county in Bungoma County have decried poor state of roads in the area. They want the government to move with speed to improve the roads that are in sorry state. This even as they laud the move by a section of leaders who have already intervened to repair the roads.
Aswa sisi kama wamama, sana tukiwa wagonjwa, kama tunataka kujifungua huwa tunapepwa tu kwa kitanda.
Hasa hii barabara itakapokusha itakusaidia sisi wananchi wa hapa area hii ya Bukhuna.
While Emuranga gubernatorial aspirant Jagamne Kamau has asked Mount Kenya residents to elect leaders based on their capacity to spearhead development, but not on their political parties, Kamau revealed that the influence of political parties in the past occasioned the electorate to vote in individuals with poor leadership qualities.
Watu wetu sasa wanaangalia sana mtu binafsi. Hawaangalii sana ni chama gani mtu anakuja naye. Wanaangalia mtu binafsi, kama anafanya kazi ama itakuwa namna gani.
To business now, where the warehouse receipt system has officially been launched in Kenya, enabling farmers to store their produce in exchange for a warehouse receipt that can be traded, sold, exchanged or used to source credit and farm inputs. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Puta Munya says the warehouse receipt system would help reduce post-harvest losses from the current 40% to 10% and enhance earnings.
The Food and Agriculture Authority has certified and registered 45 stores and 1 silo under the warehouse receipt system. The registered facilities have started accepting farm produce in exchange for receipts that can be used to access credit at 4 financial institutions. The National Cereals and Produce Board facilities in Kitale, Eldoret, Meru, Nakuru and Nairobi have started receiving farmers' produce.
The warehousing receipt, is where we can get some money. You go there, you put whatever product, atakama beans, whatever, you are given what they call a receipt. It's a title deed.
Plans are underway to incorporate potato and coffee into warehousing receipting system that initially targeted grains to cut off middlemen who were said to be fleecing farmers.
Maendelee kunufaika na jasho lake. Hawa akiuza anapata at least mapato yake, pesa iongezeke.
The system, which was officially launched Thursday in Kitale, will see farmers storing their produce in exchange for a warehouse receipt that can be traded, sold, exchanged or used to secure farm inputs.
Kule tunalipa immediately. You deliver today, the following day you check your money in the bank.
Munya says the warehouse receipt system will help reduce post-harvest losses from the current 40% to 10% and enhance food security in the country.
The warehouse receipt system is aimed at facilitating trade in a manner that will eliminate the need for physical movement of goods being traded and transfer the responsibility of post-harvest management from our farmers to professional warehouse operators.
The Kenya Investment Authority is expected to develop an investment manual that will guide potential investors on opportunities in the warehousing infrastructure and logistics. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
To tourism, where the Lake Magadi ecosystem is among tourist attractions that Kenya plans to leverage to boost the southern tourism circuit experience for both domestic and international visitors. The Lake Magadi Basin ecosystem boasts of unique tourist attractions such as birds, migratory routes, which is also the saline waters host to the Graham fish species only found in Kenya. Here's our reporter Regina Manyara with the details.
Situated 106 kilometers from Nairobi and approximately a 2-hour drive, Lake Magadi Basin offers an amazing, unique and serene destination for nature, bird lovers and adventure camping tourists, as it is endowed with a wide variety of bird species, including flamingos and pelicans.
We are now in Magadi, and this line that we are seeing here, with those balls hanging, is part of the international migratory birds for southern Kenya, and particularly Lake Magadi.
Coexistence with the birds has led to interventions over the years after a significant number of birds were electrocuted at the power lines. Within the lake, a single species of fish, a ciciclid Acolapia grahami, inhabits the hot, highly alkaline waters of this lake basin and is commonly seen in some of the hot spring pools around the shoreline, where the water temperature is less than 45 degrees Celsius. Often, tourists dip their feet into the waters and get a free pedicure. During the dry season, the lake is mainly covered by sodium carbonate, hence the popular term Magadi soda.
Tourism is changing, of course, from beach and the big five. And tourism is changing, the trend has changed to the big six. The big six is the community.
Lake Magadi lies in a catchment of faulted volcanic rocks north of Tanzania's Lake Natron and offers a spectacular geographical landscape.
In this country, we are now putting a lot of awareness, and post-COVID now we expect more locals, more domestic travels than international travels. So we expect the numbers to change because now Kenyans have realized it's time for them to enjoy their country.
The marketing agency is banking on these attractions to boost inter-county tourism.
I'm Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Thank you, Regina, for that report. Now, a youth-driven organization that started off as a charitable entity to help orphans took a different turn 7 years ago when it ventured into cottage industry to generate income for members. Today, the organization, based in Kiambu County, has grown into a formidable business. Here is that story with Yusuf Farah in this edition of Young and Industrious.
Matavia area, Kiambu County. This is the home of the Cheer Up community-based organization. The organization's operations manager welcomes us, and after brief introductions, we are briefed on the organization's history.
So Cheer Up started as a feeding program for orphans and vulnerable children. So initially guys would give donations, and then kids would be supported in various ways. In 2004, it was registered as a self-help group, and it continued its operations. 2013, it was registered as a CBO with the Ministry of Gender.
Cheer Up Enterprises kicked off in 2013 with drying of vegetables during the peak season and their resale during the dry season. The organization, comprising youthful membership, used to source excessive veggies from farmers before drying and milling them to sell later. Today, however, on the menu is freshly sourced bananas. Operations manager Tabitha Kahura walks me through the process that turns these fresh bananas to powder.
When they came in, we cleaned everything, our working station, our equipment. From there, the personnel, the one who work in that area, they'll start cleaning them and preparing them for the dryer. That involves cleaning, cutting the tips, Yes, and also we weigh them. We have to weigh the initial weight of the bananas before we dry so that we can compare with the dried ones and know the ratio.
The solar dryer usually takes 2 to 3 days depending on the weather, and once ready, it is time for milling. The banana, now in powder form, is then sieved to have a smooth product before it is then packed and ready for sale. We get a front row seat to this porridge made from the milled banana, and this is sumptuous. This isn't, however, the only product that Cheer Up Enterprises has.
Tumekuwa tukidry vitu kama bananas, pumpkin na carrot, hata na vegetables kama sukuma wiki, managu na terere tumekuwa tukikausha.
We are more on that side now, on the powders. Because yes, you can also turn sukuma wiki and spinach and everything into flour, but it does not have as many uses.
The business incurs an operation cost of between 80 to 100,000 shillings a month. Sales range between 180 to 200,000 shillings, translating to monthly profits of up to 90,000 shillings. Thanks to the business, members are now able to reap the fruits of their labor and even employ other young people to get experience and make a few coins for themselves.
Nimeweza kujimudu kimaisha vizuri na ninaona nina meeting my bills na hiki kikundi.
Na save kidogo ili hata mimi juu nataka hata mimi kuweka kazi yangu, pia nanunua chakula, juice lent, na alipia mtoto school fees, na nimegain a lot of experience na pia skills.
In 2017, the organization obtained a 250,000 shilling loan from the Youth Enterprise Development Fund that has assisted in the procurement of equipment for the business. The organization now hopes to secure another loan to expand the business and at the same time maintain their goal that has now shifted focus, targeting families affected by HIV and AIDS.
We hope to open a shop where you can find our products anytime, any day. We hope to expand our production. One of our main challenges is that we sometimes cannot meet the demand for the products because of the capacity. Our dryer is not so big, so we can only produce as much. We hope we can get our own land to set up larger, more efficient solar dryers and transfer our entire operation to a permanent location.
Na tunaona tukienda mbali tuwe na a big factory na ili tuandike watu wengi, na tungependa sana ili tuweze kusaidia our community.
Every business comes with its own fair share of challenges, but with the correct mindset and resilience, the challenges are easier to overcome. Going forward, for the Cheer Up CBO, one thing is for certain for them: the only way from here is up. Yusufar reporting for KBC Features from Matadhya Village, Lari Sub-County, Kiambu County.
Young and industrious, we have been getting lots of comments from you even right now. We'll read them later on, but it tells us that you have enjoyed that segment, and that segment will be coming to you every Thursday, talking about industrialization and the youth. Let's take a short break, but when we come back, Tech One and also a lot more on pig farming.
You okay? What's going on here? Honey.
I was telling you about...
About what? I'm doing fine.
Just fine? Fine is not good enough.
Is she in custody?
Not yet, my lady. You're under arrest. You will learn more at the station. Now, come with us.
No, I'm not going. I haven't done anything.
They're accusing you for murder.
She
killed my husband. I have children who will grow up without a father. Do you have children, huh?
That piece of paper is taking you to prison for life.
But you're not going to allow her to go to jail, are you?
Welcome back. Now, do you operate a small business? If you do, did you know that you could customize customer-facing operations through interfaces? Kenyan innovators have come up with ways of helping businesses build USSD, WhatsApp, and also programmed SMS solutions without the need for any technical expertise. Tonight on Tech One, we'll look at how small businesses can utilize plug-and-play tools to offer customer instant feedback to queries.
A study by payments technology company MasterCard reveals that 67% of small businesses in Africa say e-commerce will have a positive impact on their business. This is due to technology adoption made possible through back-end tools. These tools get integrated with WhatsApp to offer instant feedback to customer queries while using automated methods to process payments and complete transactions. Kenyan startup Asada Tech Limited, through its microservices platform Flow, have developed a system that automates customer-facing operations using conversational interfaces. Currently, the International Trade Center (ITC) reports that SMEs that adopt technology in operations are more desirable, especially those that adopt a systematic form of easy tooltips on only the best no-code platforms that guide customers to easily input questions and choices being tops. All this is done in less than 10 minutes with no coding nor any technical expertise. Also on offer is the off-the-shelf selection of auxiliary service integrations such as mobile money, card payments and bill processing options that businesses can integrate into their solutions to enrich their flows for a quick and easy purchase experience. This is expected to enable businesses view customer logs and track any failed logs from either their USSD, WhatsApp, programmable SMS or IVR channels. This way, SMEs can get in touch with their potential customers that try to reach them through their channel. Alanauko, Tech One.
Now, local pig farmers are steadily venturing into pork processing to increase their margins, despite facing the challenge of accessing animal feeds, which is now costlier. On today's episode of FarmWise, we explore Dachi Farm, which is one of the local pig startups that has ventured into pork processing.
In 2016, Jennifer Kome and her co-director started this pig farm with only 50 animals. The number increased to over 3,000 pigs during the farm's peak. The farm currently houses 1,500 pigs since they are gradually destocking.
We have had a crop of 3,000 pigs on this farm. Currently, we are engaged in primary production, meaning we grow up our pigs at the farm, and we are also engaged in processing, which is value addition.
The pigs are housed in different units depending on their age.
Ni tarehe 5 mwezi wa pili. Then huyu wa kupewa vaccine. Yes.
Not all pigs will end up at the slaughterhouse, as some of the sows and boars are held longer for breeding purposes. If well fed, a pig attains a slaughter weight at 6 months. The farmer says a 100 kg processed pig can generate over 20,000 shillings in earnings.
The pricing will vary because of where we sell. If we sell a mother, the pricing is different.
However, as in the case with many other livestock farmers, pig farming is grappling with animal feed scarcity and increased prices. A few months ago, this place would be full of workers and animals, but thanks to the high cost of animal feeds, the place is now deserted.
The government does not follow the directive of the president, which he gave on the 20th of September during his Mashujaa Day address, to actually ensure the cost of animal feeds is cushioned in the short term. Then farms like ourselves will just close, like many farms have closed down.
Gomez says the cost of feeding has more than doubled to 65% of the total cost of production, up from the normal 30%.
I think the key thing is the feed cost has gone up by 65 to 65%. So whichever direction, if we sell a mother, which we used to sell at 40,000, if the feed has moved from 45% to 65%, it means the profit margin already has been eaten into.
The scarcity in animal feeds is attributed to high demand for animal feeds in China and India that has mopped up key raw materials for making animal feeds from countries where Kenya sources some of her raw materials.
China and India, having not been able to grow a normal crop, started looking regionally. And they came down to Uganda. The Indians came to Uganda. The Chinese went down to Zambia and started locking big volumes of the material.
The government, in a circular, allowed feed millers to import feeds provided the feeds were 100% GMO-free, a move that millers now say is a challenge.
Fortunately, on the world space, the materials offered today, like maize, like soya, soybean meal, DDGS, any material you talk about has been to an extent genetically modified.
We are a net importer of the meat eaten here, whether it is chicken, whether it is the eggs, whether it is the pork meat, and in fact beef meat. And some of this meat is coming from jurisdictions that for a very long time are already using GMO animal feed.
The Association of Kenya Feeds Manufacturers say that 6 animal feed millers have closed shop since mid last year due to lack of feed processing material.
It will not be possible to import any of those materials at 100% GM free. What we see as a way forward, therefore, is a review of the Gazette notice issued in November to adopt the European standard at 99.1%.
For now, Daiichi Farm is operating below capacity, with pigs receiving reduced feed ratio that the owners say has affected the weight of the animals, hence lower income. The annual pork production in Kenya stands at an average of 14,000 metric tons, against a consumption of 33,000 metric tons. Benson Rioba reporting for FarmWays.
The 24 billion shilling Kayumenu 2 Dam in Gatundu North, Kiambu County, is likely to be completed in March this year, 3 months ahead of the planned schedule. Water and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki says the dam requires an additional 1.2 billion shillings for purchasing more land to construct a reservoir.
The government will soon avail funds to compensate landowners affected by the construction of the Karimenu 2 Dam in Gatundu North, Kiambu County. Water and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki says plans are underway to buy an additional 350 acres of land at a cost of 1.2 billion shillings for construction of a reservoir.
Need 350 acres of land, which is going to be part of where the water, the dam, once we begin impounding the water, where the water will be flowing towards.
The project, which was initially scheduled for completion in June this year, is expected to be handed over 3 months earlier.
I'm actually saying that this project is ready for completion, to be complete by end of March this year, on the assumption that one, the 1.2 billion deficit for acquiring 350 acres that we require for us to commence impounding water is availed immediately.
The multi-billion dam features a 70 million litre per day water treatment plant, a 67-kilometer raw and treated water transmission pipelines, and 2 concrete water storage tanks in Ruiru and Juja, with a capacity of 23.5 million litres and 5 million litres respectively.
It is a project which progressed reasonably well, and it is a project which now, from where we stand, I'm happy to note that we have now gotten to the peak of the dam wall, which is 100% complete today.
The project, which is 80% complete, will serve an estimated 1 million residents in Kiambu and Nairobi County. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Investor activity in the real estate sector is projected to grow, powered by the government's focus on the affordable housing agenda. However, Saiton Real Estate Research Analysis Fidelis Wanlenga says the August general election could dampen investment, that despite the recovery economy and emerging opportunities. Here are the details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs.
In 2021, the Kenyan real estate sector witnessed increased housing development with a general improvement in real estate transactions, mainly driven by focus on affordable housing projects and an improved business environment that was recovering from COVID disruptions witnessed in the year 2020. Wanalwenge says quality affordable student housing is an underserved niche.
The number of students who enter into university, or rather are enrolled into university, they are higher than the supply of who require housing, that is, who require housing in universities. It's higher than the number of supplied units for student housing. So that is why there's a niche in that market.
Meanwhile, Equity Bank has announced a reduction in the duration it takes to settle PayPal withdrawals from 3 business days to just 1 business day, a development that enhances efficiency. Equity Bank Kenya Managing Director Gerald Warui says COVID-19 has forced many small businesses to adopt a digital operating model, including the adoption of cash-light payment models such as direct payments. Warui says the reduced settlement period will allow businesses to effectively manage their cash flows and accelerate their growth. Freelance writers, Kenyans with families abroad, those in creative industry and small businesses are among those expected to benefit from the service. Finally, the Capital Markets Authority has approved the issuance of up to 10.5 billion shillings by the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company in various tranches through medium-term notes. The cash raised from the issuance, whose first tranche is 1.4 billion shillings, will be disbursed to participating primary mortgage companies for onward lending. This is the first time the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company is issuing a medium-term note program to raise a long-term capital in its quest to reduce mortgage interest rates. Since it started operations in 2019, the financier has relied on loans from the World Bank and African Development Bank and the Continental Development Finance Institution.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya mwanzo mpya, bonyeza *811 *815 #.
Usikae hapo na kujihurumia eti kwa sababu ulikosea ama ulianguka. Maisha wakati mwingine utapata umeanguka ama umekosea. Pata mafunzo pale. Unapopata mafunzo, inuka tena, kung'uta mavumbi, songa mbele. Yaliyopita jamani, si ndwele, ganga yajayo, maana kuna nguvu katika mwanzo mpya.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya mwanzo mpya, bonyeza *811 *815 #, *811 *815 #.
Good evening, I'm Richard Munga with the latest in sports, and perhaps you can start by an update in the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations, whereby hosts Cameroon have obviously taken, or rather ensured, a tight grip on Group A after beating Ethiopia 4-1 to lead the group on 6 points. That match took part at the Paul Biya Stadium in Olembe, Yaoundé. And in another Group A match, remember that these are the first matches of the second round of matches. In the group match at 10 p.m, we have Cape Verde seeking to maintain their second position, out for their second win when they take on Burkina Faso. To other matters now, the Ministry of Sports has organized a 5-day seminar dubbed Agnes Rob Conference that is aimed at finding solutions to curb gender-based violence among sports persons in the country. The conference, which was officially launched today by Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed, will bring together sports stakeholders in the country and will be held between 17th and the 21st of this month in Mombasa.
Sports Cabinet Ambassador Amina Mohammed says the preparation for the conference, with a theme leveling the playing field, is complete. The conference brings together sports stakeholders from Kenya and across the world, top government officials, investigative agencies, among others, to discuss the issues of gender-based violence in sports and finding lasting solutions.
We want to provide a platform where members, stakeholders, sportsmen and women, officials can converge and discuss the priority issues of inclusivity, of welfare and of dignity.
A report by the Gender Welfare and Equity Committee that was tasked with investigating and reporting on cases of gender-based violence in sports in Kenya will also be launched during the event.
When we talk of gender, it doesn't mean we are only thinking of the issues that concerns women. Gender takes care of the men and the women, because we understand, all of us, we suffer some challenges here and there. And what we are saying is that the reason of having this conference or this gender committee is a way of saying that silence no more.
Over 100 sports persons from all the federations have been invited to take part in the conference, which will be held as from the 17th through the 21st of this month in Mombasa. Daniel Mwendwa, Sport.
Meanwhile, the two national hockey teams, that is the men and women's teams that are set to represent the country at the Africa Cup of Nations in Ghana, have been named. The two teams will travel this week ahead of the continental event that will be held from the 17th till the 23rd of January this month, in Accra, Ghana.
12 players, 6 men and 6 ladies have been dropped from the provisional list of national hockey teams that will fly out to Ghana this week for the Africa Cup of Nations, set to be held from the 17th to 23rd of this month in Accra, Ghana.
My technical bench has worked for the last 5 months, and there'll always be ups and downs. There are people who will not be happy for being left out, and there are those who will be happy for making the cut, but all in all, I think we have selected a team that deserves to be part of the team.
The two teams that have been in a bubble camp for a while had initial squads of 25 players each, but 6 had to be dropped from each team to make traveling squads of 19 players each. The ladies team will face hosts Ghana, Nigeria and Zambia in Pool B, with Pool A comprising of South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe and Uganda.
I have faith in this team. I have no feelings of regret or anything. I have faith in this team. Like I said, we prepared well as a team, as a 25, and anyone selected within there is good to go. So this is the team we have now, and this is the team representing us in Ghana.
The Kenyan ladies will open their hand for a gold medal against Zambia on the 17th of this month, before playing Ghana a day later and then Nigeria on the 20th of this month.
The energy levels the older players will be expected to generate will need to be complemented by the younger players that we are introducing into the squad, because we have to transit from the junior level to the senior level, because eventually age and commitments catch up with us.
The Kenyan men pulled in Group A together with Namibia and Jan South Africa will play Namibia in their opening match on the 18th of this month, then face South Africa a day later.
Now, the Kenya National Paralympic Committee has embarked on a journey to see the Paralympics team perform better at the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. The team had a difficult outing at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics that was held last year, collecting only one medal, a bronze medal.
About 250 athletes, mostly drawn from schools with disabilities, are competing in the Kenya National Paralympic Committee Commonwealth Games 2022 pre-qualifiers, which started today at the Kasarani Stadium. Top athletes in the pre-qualifiers will be selected to participate in the Commonwealth Games qualifying events that run until May 2022.
As we participated in Tokyo, we saw the challenges that were there in terms of athletes, and we sat as a board, Kenya National Paralympic Board, and saw the need to tap new talents. So we decided that we're going to do this event, try online registration, make sure that we go to special schools whereby we can get athletes who are challenged physically, visually, so that we can actually start nurturing them in preparation for 2024.
The pre-qualifiers are also geared towards identifying new sporting talent and targeting the youth with disabilities in the country, as KNPC looks to develop a strong team that will represent the country at the 2024 Paralympic Games in Paris, France. Nairobi gubernatorial aspirant Tim Wanyonyi, who graced the event at Kasarani, promised to consider persons living with disabilities should he be elected.
One of my primary objective in my manifesto is to make sure that we create facilities that are accessible to all people with disability, and any other person can use. If we create a stadiums that can be used by everybody, then that is the first beginning. Those who are as a sportsmen and women, and also the spectators who come to watch, they should also have access to the facility, because sometimes even I come to watch football here, and when you reach here, literally they have to carry you up.
Among the winners of Day 1's events were John Troitich, who won the 5,000 meters T12 event, and Rogers Kiprop, who won the T11 5,000 meters event. Among the disciplines to feature in Birmingham include para-athletics, wheelchair basketball, para-cycling and para-swimming.
Well, that's all the time we had for sports tonight. But remember, for more sports news, you can log on to www.kbc.co.ke on the sports category for all the stories that you had tonight, as well as other updates. I'm Richard Munga. Do have a good night. At the moment, I'll hand you over to Cynthia Nyamai.
Thank you, Munga, for the sports news. Now, I'm just looking at some of your comments and feedback. We have John, who says he's from Malindi and says he enjoyed Young and Industrious. Same to Shiko. And also we have Chebet, all the way in Embu, who says that she would like to see more stories on Young and Industrious. Remember, we have Young and Industrious every Thursday. The conversation is all about innovation, youth, and entrepreneurship. And if you want to see more of the stories and details that we had tonight, you could check out our website, KBC, and also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. From me and the rest of the team, I wish you a good night.
hata iweje yani, na yule aliyoko pale saizi haizi toboa.
Mimi nilikuwa ninakufuata bwana, ili tuende kule mjini tukutane na governor, tumfunge mdomo, tuendelee na kazi.
So what happened?
Paka tumpe time, hebu tumpe mwezi mmoja tuangalie yafanya kazi kweli ama yafanya.
Mwezi mmoja tena?
Mwezi mmoja.
We shall deal with them ruthlessly. Na wewe mwenyewe utaona.
You okay? What's going on here? Honey.